Hi, my name is Naomi, and this is my slideshow on Reconstruction in education. I read the book Up from Slavery by Booker T. Washington, and a lot of the things that I wanted to talk about are from this. There are several ideals that Booker T. Washington prioritized in his school. First is the option for everyone to have equal opportunities to attend school. Second is teaching the importance of manual labor. Third is teaching students to follow their interests and to do what interests them. The fourth is teaching students to continue improving methods until they're doing the best way possible. The fifth is preparing students to be ready for work right after graduation. I think that we can make changes in the current education system with emphasis on those things: innovation, discussion, more hands-on activities, a personalized education plan for every student, and lowering the cost and amount of standardized testing, and finally, preparing students for the world. Job readiness. Innovation. Innovation means doing things the best way possible. And that's always to have that mindset of what could be better about this. To do this, to promote this mindset, because it's not facts, to promote the mindset, you can teach concepts, not facts, or discovery, promote self-reflection, and hands-on activities, allowing creative options and ideas, and research education. When the President of the United States visited Tuskegee, the students all put together a parade, and in the parade there were these floats that had the old way of that had their old methods of doing things and their new method of doing. In the book, it says that these floats took an hour and a half of time to go through, means that there were a lot of different changes and improvements in the methods over the years. The next is discussions. Now, having discussions can be difficult because some students don't want to have discussions, and they might not feel like discussion space is safe space. However, once you when you can do discussions, students will be able to remember lessons from new connections and analogies brought up by peers. In a good discussion, everyone's thoughts are heard, and it also checks the student's application and processing of the information. Through discussions, the students can also work on summarizing and synthesizing skills, and new innovative ideas can come through. The next is hands-on manual labor. In this pyramid, it shows that students learn one of the best ways that students learn is by doing hands-on activities and teaching other students what they've learned. This can include service. In the book, it says that in Christmas, in Tuskegee, which was the town that the school was in, many of the citizens, for Christmas, many of the citizens' Christmas was not a very special thing that was put aside. It was more of 2-week vacation from work, and everyone would get drunk and do whatever they wanted. But Booker T. Washington didn't want that, and he wanted to foster the true spirit of Christmas and that taught the students the true meaning of Christmas, which is caring, and he feels confident, and it says, um, in this, we have been successful to a degree that makes me feel safe in saying that the season now has a new meaning, not only through that immediate region, but in a measure wherever our graduates have gone. Booker T. Washington spent many months of his life on tours to raise money for Tuskegee because it was mostly funded off of donations. In his speech, he never said North that he would have said in the South, vice versa, or anything that he would have said to one group that he would not have said. Even with this ideals, he was still able to make sure that still made each lecture and speech that he gave unique and catered to those people. The next is Personalized Education Plan, or PEP. Some students have this. For people with disabilities, it's called an IEP, Individualized Education Plan. PEP is Personalized Education Plan. It's usually used for tag students. But I think that if we had a PEP for all students, then students to be involved in making their plan, be able to choose their own, take classes of their own choosing, and learn how to make goals. One of my friends at the local school was interested in one of the classes. However, so he got into that class. However, his other friends or other people that were in that class didn't want to be, which made it very difficult to most of the other students their other class. Students learning how to make goals is very important because if you learn while you're younger, then when you get older, you can push yourself to learn more. SMART, like SMART goal. This stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. These are the 5 crucial points when you're making goals. It can be difficult to get an education, and it can be difficult to make your own goals and to get over those goals and hop over those hurdles. However, if you do and you're able to make that a priority for yourself, it can further yourself. It can further you. Lowering costs of education and reducing the amount of standardized testing. Currently, standardized testing tests 3 things: reading, writing, and math. Those are the general 3 things. But it doesn't show proficiency in science, art, or theater, and even in those 3 that they are tested on, it's not finding their strengths, it's finding the weaknesses. If we were having a personalized education of students, then it needs just a close record, good record on everything with be able to see where they are and if they are progressing or not. In addition, the cost of education can be very expensive. One school that I found, the price of textbooks for one term was $1,240. That's not including tuition or the cost of living, or the living costs. This can cause a lot of stress on students, especially if they are also working to level out those costs. Standardized testing and increasing rates for the cost of school can stress students out and make them worse on their perform worse on in both the normal schooling and the standardized testing. Innovation is something that um, innovation is something that Booker T. Washington really prioritized, and he wanted it in both the schoolroom and also in he promoted it in the schoolroom and also when their actual skills, which leads us to job readiness, which is just being ready to be in the work, to be an adult, and to get a job. To prepare students for jobs or job readiness, I think we need to make learning skills as important aspects. Currently, jobs or people want job applicants with 3 things. First is IQ, second is EQ, and the third is RQ. You need a combination of all 3 of these things to be able to, not you need a combination, but businesses want people who have a combination of all those 3 things as their employees. It used to be that the education system would prepare the students for going into work and they would get on-the-job training. However, now there's a lot more different fields of work, and there can be a gap between the end of high school and what the businesses already want you to know. And because of that, some community colleges have made a class called Job Readiness to learn about that, which I think is important, but it would also be good to have that for students to learn that before they're graduate. On the bottom left is a letter that Booker T. Washington's son wrote. It says that he liked his work so much. He says, "I like my work so much that I want to work at my trade all day." He was invested in his trade and didn't pursue it because of monetary value, but because he wanted to do it. In conclusion, I think that the current education system works, but there are definitely some places where we could make improvements. Improvements in the areas of innovation, discussions, hands-on activities, visualization, and job readiness, with the addition of lowering the cost, be very the grades and the mental health of all the students. Thank you.